Hello, students of Squarespace. Welcome to Circle Learn, our webinar series where we help you become a Squarespace expert. I'm Sam Z, one of your community managers, and today I'm here with a couple of friends to help us understand Squarespace AI. What is it? How do you use it? What are some of the best practices? So first off, to help us with this educational journey, I'll introduce Squarespace Principal Product Manager, Matt Singer. Hi there, Matt. Welcome to Circle Learn.
Hey, excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Such a delight. You are exactly the person that I wanted to bring here to talk to us about this because you've been with Squarespace AI from the very beginning. Give us the elevator pitch before we get started with Becca.
Well, we know how hard it can be to fill a website with content. So we're just trying to leverage the latest technology to make it easier and easier for you and get creative ideas out there for you to build upon.
Yes, it's all about getting those creative ideas out there and building upon them, trying to make it easy for people to get creative with Squarespace. And we also have Becca Harpain here, expert in so many things, but today talking about Squarespace AI. Hi, Becca. Thanks for leading this Circle Learn today.
Hi, Sam. Hey, Matt. And hello, everybody. I am so happy to be going live today. I do a lot of video content for my business and rarely get to have chats with actual people. So I'm super happy that we humans are here to talk about robots together.
I love the way you put that. Yes, definitely. We humans have lots to learn about robots. And in a second, I'm going to give Becca the wheel to teach us all about Squarespace AI. For right now, Matt, we're going to say goodbye to you. You're going to return later to moderate the Q&A with Becca.
Bye, Matt.
Bye, Matt. And Becca, are you ready to share your wisdom with us?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for this opportunity, Sam. I'm stoked.
You betcha. You betcha. Well, you are our Squarespace AI expert, and we are here to learn.
All right, everybody. So I do have a presentation prepared that I built in Squarespace because it's me. I had to do it that way. But one of the things I really want to talk about today is using the power of Squarespace AI to kind of bridge the gap for some specific use cases when it comes to creating content for our Squarespace websites. I still do some pro bono work on the side. I try to build a brand new website at least once a quarter for awesome clients out there. And I definitely have run into this situation, honestly, for years since I even started doing web design, where I'll create an amazing, gorgeous design and I'll get the copy from the client and it just doesn't fit. It needs a little bit of work. It needs to be reduced or lengthened, or parts about it need to change so my design can really flow. And then I've also run into situations where they provide me with the copy and it's bad copy. Not everybody's going to be great at explaining what they do and writing good content for a website. So I love using Squarespace AI and its features built right into Squarespace to take what I've gotten from a client and really make it fit for the function of that particular design. Now, Squarespace AI is kind of a different tool than some of the other programs you might have used, like ChatGPT or Gemini. It's not really a long chat that you can go back to and revisit multiple times. We're actually going to be using it in different places inside text blocks in Squarespace. I also have a set of prompts that I've created to kind of go along with this presentation. And I think we're definitely going to paste those inside the information with the replay of this, but I think we'll throw a link into the comments or somewhere along the way too. I'll show you the prompts and you'll have access to them. They're free for you to use. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you exactly how I use these examples here to really embellish copy to make it work for a website. All right, so here we are in Squarespace. I'm going to hop into edit mode. Oh, and before I forget, if you have any questions along the way, please pop them into the comments. We've got that Q&A session along the end. I'm not going to be looking at them while I'm presenting, but we've got people in there moderating the comments and grabbing questions. So anything that comes up while I'm talking, hop in there with those questions for me. Okay? Awesome. All right, let's get to it. So how do we make AI work the way that we need it to? One of the key things that you need to keep in mind when you're working with Squarespace AI is that specificity is key. Right now, we're having these independent chats using Squarespace AI. Again, unlike ChatGPT, we're not hopping back into an old conversation and reviving it. These are independent chats and independent conversations. So focusing on the right prompt is really the key to making this work for you. I like to identify 3 specific things in every prompt that I use, and that's the tone, where it could be friendly, conversational, professional. Think about the tone of your content. Think about the target audience, and think about the context. If you provide those 3 things in every prompt, you're going to get some great copy from Squarespace AI. I also want to mention too that Squarespace AI responses, these are creative ideas. These are not replacements for your expertise. So no matter what it gives you, definitely give it a once over and add your human touch to it to make sure it really reflects you and your needs and what the client needs. Okay? Awesome. All right. So one of my first examples here is modifying intent. I've had a situation where I've had a pretty long-winded client and I've needed to take their information and condense it down. And that's one of my favorite ways to use AI for modifying intent. So here's an example of this is actual copy I got from a client for their veterinary clinic website, and it's like 5 paragraphs long. The bio that I designed for this was for a hero header, a banner image on the Squarespace website. We need a paragraph. We don't need 5. So this is the prompt that I'm going to use for this one, and I want to show you how I use it. I've said, this is an introductory statement for the homepage of a veterinarian's website. Can you rewrite this content to be more concise, about 1/3 of the size, friendly, and targeted toward loving pet owners who seek medical care for their pets? We've got the tone, we've got the context, and we have the, what was the third one? The target audience. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to double click on this text block. I'm going to highlight the whole shebang. I'll click on this fantastic lightning bolt, and you can click one of the quick responses, simplify, shorten, lengthen, or use your own prompt that has those 3 things we talked about. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and it's going to rewrite this for us. All right, let's take a look at this. It even puts things in bold. I love it. This can definitely fit the design of my website a lot better than that long paragraph it was before. It's much more condensed, but let's take a look here. Since 60 years, that's not quite right. So maybe we'll change this to for over 60 years. That's going to read a little bit better. There we go. Routine checkups, all of this good stuff. Focus on preventative measures. We won't go through the whole copy for this presentation, but I just want to give you a little sneak peek that you will need to edit it a little bit. But again, this will fit my design so much better. So using AI to modify the intent and change the actual content a little bit can be a really helpful way to use AI to make your projects even better. All right, we've got tone, style, and consistency. This is the next one here. These are 3 biographies that I got for 3 different employees. And you'll notice one of them's really long, one of them's really short, and one of them is really specific about locations and dates. We want these to be similar. So I'm going to use this prompt. Rewrite these bios to have a consistent tone and similar length. Let's give this a try. I'm going to copy that text. We'll highlight all of this stuff, click that fancy lightning bolt, and we'll ask it to update these. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and it's going to rewrite the copy right there in my Squarespace website. Again, I'm getting those fantastic bold separators there. Everything's coming out to be about the same length. This looks a lot better. Okay, fantastic. Tone, style, and consistency. All right, scrolling down here, we've got target market insight. This, I think, is a really interesting one. Let's say you're working with a client. I kind of switch things up here. This client focuses on yoga studios. They have 3 different classes: yoga for beginners, immediate yoga class, and advanced Ashtanga yoga. Let's say they don't send you the full description or paragraph information about those classes, or what they do send you is too complicated to make it really easy for maybe a beginner who is just getting started with yoga. We can use one of those prompts that has the target, the context, and the tone to use Squarespace AI for generating a description of that yoga class. You ready to do it? Okay, let's do this. So we've got my website targets, and we'll change target audience to beginners who are interested in trying yoga. I guess we don't need beginners there. We'll just say people who are interested in trying yoga. Generate a class description that speaks directly to them using a, let's go with friendly, spelled correctly, and supportive tone, while highlighting the, what should we talk about here? Highlighting the context of our context. Again, it's for a yoga class. So we'll say beginners yoga class. Highlighting the easiness of our beginners yoga class. We'll go with that one. I haven't had enough coffee to be too creative today. So let's take this and we'll go ahead and run this through AI. We're going to paste the whole thing right here and we'll say write, and let's see what it comes up with for us. All right, we're getting a pretty long paragraph here, but that's pretty good. I like it. Welcome to our beginner's yoga class. Really gives us some more information. Don't worry if you're not the most flexible or you never tried yoga before. This is the kind of content where we can rearrange a little bit, work with what they've given us. But again, if all my client told me was, hey, I have a beginner's yoga class and my design needs a longer description of it, I can use Squarespace AI to fill in that gap for me. All right, so that's a great example right there. Here's another cool way of using AI too. Let's say my design only needs one paragraph, not this whole thing. We can highlight this copy and say, hey, AI, please shorten this for us. One click, and we're going to get a much shorter description. So lots of creative ways to use it directly in Squarespace while you're editing that copy to make sure it fits your actual site. So another fun, cool feature. All right, this one was another creative idea that I started using for my own website, which I strongly recommend everyone explore. And that is helping you not be redundant. It's helping you work on any place where you might need more than one call to action and you're just out of ideas. Like, how many times have you written a call to action for like a lead magnet or a landing page and you're tired of saying sign up or enroll now? You can get AI to help you come up with more ideas. Now, again, we're going to be working with tone, with context, and with the target market. So how about for this one right here, we're going to ask AI to, let's see, I'm typing in there. There we go. Please come up with 5 creative calls to action. So creative will be the tone and call to action is part of the context. Let's add just a little bit more. 5 creative calls to action that will encourage people. Hang on one second. I can never type when I know people are looking. Here we go. Encourage people to sign up for a yoga class. And we'll spell that correctly. Thanks for bearing with me while I type. And right, let's see what we've got here. Embrace balance, awaken your strength, find your zen. I love this. Look at all these examples we have right here. It's also given us a little bit more context, copy that we can actually put inside the page itself. So that's kind of a fun surprise there. Instead of just the direct call to action, we get some more options. But now I don't have to say enroll now or sign up. I can try embrace balance. I can try join the yoga tribe. We've got a lot more options. So another creative spin on using Squarespace AI to come up with more copy. All right. Here's one more that is a huge time saver for me that I know you're going to love, and that is strategic SEO. These clients that are providing copy for their website, I really doubt that they're SEO experts. I'm certainly not one. So I don't know. I think this is a really good example right here. If we take this copy and we can say, based on my target keyword, generate compelling SEO titles and meta descriptions for my context, for my target audience, make sure that they're under a specific character limit and that they accurately reflect your context. This is the prompt example right here. So maybe based on my target keyword, beginners yoga, generate compelling SEO titles and meta description for my class description pages, targeting people new to yoga. Let's give it a character limit. I can't remember what the header character limit is. Let's just say 300 characters for now, and accurately reflect my yoga studio expertise. Something along those lines. Let's see what AI can come up with for us. I'll paste that information right here and let's see. There we go. Now we have a title. We have a meta description. We have 5 or 4 different alternatives here, lots of cool options. So again, you can use something super simple in that prompt, providing the tone, providing the context and the target market, and Squarespace AI can generate some really creative and strategic SEO options for you. So I've got a little recap down here, and then I'm going to share with you all those prompts I talked about. So modify copy intent. You can ask Squarespace AI to identify the actual context or copy of a site and rewrite it for you in a different tone or different voice. You can ask it to remove redundancies or suggest simpler terms, or like we used in the first example, take a really long, lengthy paragraph and shorten it so it's more concise and fits in your design. You can also ask it to rewrite things so it has a similar consistency, a similar tone, a similar style. You've got some ways to maintain a consistent brand voice, even if that's not what your client provided you. Target market insight is a great one too. You can get some personalized website copy based on your defined demographics. Again, making sure you mention that target as well as the context and the tone inside your prompt. And then removing redundancy. I loved using it for generating new calls to action for my own website. And I think this will be a really big game changer for my clients too. And then last but not least, strategic SEO. The fact that we can use Squarespace AI to generate SEO ideas, that's a lot of fun stuff. All right. And I had one last sentence here. AI is not a magic bullet, but it's a powerful tool for website designers to improve client provided copy. All right, let's take a look at these prompts. Are you ready? This is so weird not looking at the chat while I'm talking. I hope you're ready. I'm going to share this tab here. All right, so this is inside a Google Doc, but we will share this information with you. These are some of the prompts that I wrote for every single one of those concepts: modifying copy intent, rewriting content, replacing terms, asking it to remove any redundancies. We've got a lot of great options here. After that, we have tone and style consistency, asking it to take copy and rewrite it or update things. Oh my gosh, I love seeing these little animals pop up with how many people are looking at this with me. That's really fun. I'm glad the link was shared. Everybody enjoyed this prompt list. So tone, style, and consistency is one that was really important for this last website project that I worked on, because it seemed like there wasn't a consistent tone across the descriptions of their services and again in their biographies. Using Squarespace AI, I was able to get a lot more of the content to really have a similar style and a similar tone, which was super helpful for embellishing more so it fit the design I was working on. All right, then target market insight. That's a really important one to make sure that your copy is going to reach the right people. Using that yoga studio example, I have no idea how to describe an Ashtanga yoga class, but Squarespace AI can help me come up with that content. So that's a great one too. All right, removing redundancy. Again, this is so helpful for generating creative ideas for calls to action, maybe even subtitles and things like that. Let's say you've got a great descriptive paragraph, but your design has a subheading. Ask Squarespace AI to read that paragraph and give you a subheading for it. Another great example. And then strategic SEO. Who doesn't love a little SEO help? I love using this to generate meta descriptions and titles for things. As a person who has over 300 blog posts, I'm definitely going to be using Squarespace AI to help me improve some of my SEO over the next quarter. So that's a lot of fun stuff. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I talked so fast today. I should not have had that second cup of coffee, but I hope you found this helpful. Again, I've got this sample demo site here. I'll go ahead and set this to a password accessible site if you ever want to check this out and see some of the live examples that we talked about. But that was about it. I think we're going to call this one a wrap.
Wow, that was a whirlwind, Becca. You know so much about this, and you have put so much thought into that presentation. I know that there's going to be lots of questions. I know that there's already a lot of questions in the chat right now. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, allow our students to collect their thoughts and put questions in the chat. If you have any questions for Becca or about Squarespace AI generally, you can put them in the chat right now. Even if you don't have a question right away, I would definitely recommend trying to come up with one, because questions are where the learning really, really happens. So we'll be back in just a minute with Becca, and Matt is going to moderate a Q&A with the both of them. Thanks, Becca.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. I'm looking forward to your questions, everyone. Bring them. We're ready.
Yeah, that was an amazing presentation. Thanks so much, Becca.
Thanks, Matt. Really happy to have you here. So could you give everybody a quick background on your experience with Squarespace AI before we dig into the technical questions?
Me? Well, I am what they call the principal product manager, and I've been responsible for kind of bringing generative AI into Squarespace and kind of getting all the features launched. And yeah, it's just amazing to watch your presentation and see it come to life and what it really matters. You know, that's what warms our hearts. We want to do it to help you.
Awesome. Well, I find it incredibly helpful. And I was looking through some of the questions popping up in here. And one that really popped out to me that I wanted to address right away was people asking, do you share with your client that you're using AI to help the process? And I'm going to take that one because it's not technically a technical question.
Ooh, go ahead.
But I absolutely do. I think it's really important to have that level of transparency with your clients. And it also, I think, has really prompted them to want to review it even more with like a closer eye. I've definitely had a few clients who just want to hand off the website project to me and don't really want to deal with anything. They just want it done and launched. But if I tell them that I'm using AI to improve or embellish or help me with the copy for it, they're more likely to review it. I think it's kind of an interesting, I don't know, human behavior, but I always think it's important to disclose that that is absolutely what you're doing when you're using some AI assistance for your site. So I would recommend disclosing that right out of the gate. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, onto the technical ones.
Yeah, I mean, let's stay on that front with kind of like how you how you work with clients. So another question that someone asked kind of on a similar note: have you had clients who do not want their copy or content edited, or do you not want to add content even when it enhances their website?
That's an interesting question. I haven't actually experienced that situation where they've asked me not to, but I also have never worked with a copywriter directly. Like I've never built a website for a copywriter. A lot of the people I build websites for are usually small businesses who really focus in their area of expertise and their niche. So they kind of look to me for a design direction where I'll tell them, hey, that headline, it's a little too long. We should really shorten it so it's a little more actionable. Why don't we put that other content into the subheader? I kind of guide them through the process of improving their copy already, long before we had AI to help with. So that's really been a part of my process from the beginning. Yeah, luckily, nobody's ever complained. So I think I've got some good clients.
Kind of on another note, yeah, people were wondering, how do you actually introduce the idea of AI content creation or modification to clients, or do you add language about it in your contracts, or
Yeah, I would
I
definitely put it in the contracts. That's a good one to bring up, Matt, for sure. I make sure that there is a line in there that I'm going to use different tools to assist with creating of the website. And that can be anything like improving some of the graphics with some of my own graphic design skills, or again, using AI to help me out with some of the copy. I believe Jen, one of my favorite Squarespacers out there. Hey, Jen, I think you're watching today. I remember that you mentioned once you told your clients you like to use AI to help you get started. And I think that's a really good way to kind of start the conversation with them. Let them know it's going to be a part of your process from the very beginning.
Absolutely. Cool. So there's a couple of technical questions that I see here. One was, does Squarespace AI connect to the internet, or did it stop learning several years ago? So
Ooh, good question.
under the hood, like we're basically always adding to the technology stack that's powering Squarespace AI. So over time, it includes more and more data or information. That said, these models, there is usually like a date when like it's baked, and it kind of includes certain like relevant current information. So if you want to use it for something that's literally like yesterday or like super hot off the press, it's probably not as optimized for that as sort of more general descriptions, like concepts like what is a yoga studio, that kind of thing.
Interesting. I like that concept too. Like once it's fully baked, I'm going to have to start using that terminology. I like it. I've seen a few about the differences between 7.0 and 7.1. Is there going to be an AI tool in version 7? I haven't hopped into a Brian site in a long time.
Yeah, it is available in the rich text editor in the text block in 7.0. So we actually launched it that way from the start. So really happy to help a wide array. And I do want to actually go over to the other question for you, Becca, because it's very interesting. If clients are specifically asking for AI when you work with them, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. I haven't had anybody specifically ask for AI that have been my website clients, but I have had Squarespace designers reach out to me asking about incorporating AI, which is part of why I was so excited to do this presentation today. Because as soon as Squarespace AI came out with, everybody was like, yay, we have a new tool to work with. How do we work with it? So it was really exciting to see that the Squarespace designers were the ones that have posed that question to me more than any clients have. Good question.
And I don't know if that I just squeezed in two questions, but did I get one more, Sam?
You can have one more question.
Okay,
Go
cool.
on.
I did think it was also interesting to find out. Someone asked if we think that being an AI expert helps with marketing or finding clients?
I think it absolutely does. I feel like the technology has become so adopted now. I mean, it definitely, the trajectory of its popularity, it took off real fast, and people are a lot more comfortable with it than they were when it first came out, honestly, just a few months ago when the whole world started using it. But I think that being comfortable expressing that I do use this in my projects and showing people how it can help them has really helped me market myself a little bit better and help me find more clients.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great to hear. I mean, I almost look at the kind of growth of AI sort of like social media. It's
Mhm.
like um, it's just like kind of a solution that like when you get good at it, you can actually like they call it a force multiplier. You can do more for your customers. And again, it's not like just like social media. It's not like, oh, I just created a profile, now everything's done. Like you still have to kind of like learn how to use it well, like how to do Instagram, how to do TikTok. There's like a knack to it.
Mhm.
Um, but then when you do learn that, then you can actually, like in the case of social media, bring a ton of traffic to yourself or your clients. And it's kind of the same thing with generative AI. It's like once you sort of get better and better about getting good stuff out of it, you could create more content or like sort of operate more efficiently and just like do more for your customers and that or clients. And that's kind of like a just cool thing to offer.
Absolutely. I think that AI, the number one thing it's done for me is solve the problem of writer's block. The amount of writer's block and creativity blocks I used to have, the amount of time I wasted on those is completely gone. And because of that, I'm a lot more efficient now. Mhm.
Great.
Solving the problem of writer's block. Well, I think that for the promise that AI gives to people, some people come into it thinking, is it really that good? And what I love about what you've offered us today, Becca and Matt, is showed us that it really is incredibly helpful. And it's a powerful tool that if you can learn to use it, maybe it can't do everything for you. Maybe robots can't solve all of your problems, but it can do more than maybe you thought it could, and different things that you might not have thought about, the tone and the style that you were talking about, covering for redundancy, all of those things. This has truly been an excellent learning experience, and I've just learned so much. We're at the end of this Circle Learn today. Matt Singer, I want to thank you for joining us on this educational journey and moderating our Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, Matt.
thanks for having us, and yeah, really appreciate the opportunity.
And Becca, I want to thank you for being our Squarespace AI expert.
You are so welcome. Thanks for having me in Circle Learn, Sam. This was a lot of fun, and I'm really just so grateful I got a chance to connect with our community today. Thank you for this.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you come around, Becca. Students, thank you for coming to learn with us. We will be back in April with another Circle Learn, so check your emails and the Circle Forum calendar for updates. And you can sign up to join us for next week's Circle Live on February 28th. It's our monthly internet talk show. Next Wednesday, we'll be talking with the creative team behind Squarespace's recent collaboration with director Martin Scorsese. Taylor, if you could share the link in that chat for people to sign, that would be awesome. Hope to see you there, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. We will see you next time.